Let's start. All right. So today we are still continuing with list because the next chapter says more on lists, not string. More on lists. And then we'll start by list and the random module. We've talked about this random module where we could say from random um, from random import choice sample and shuffle. So these are just functions under random, which we have imported into our code. And let's say we have a list L to be equal to, let's say, just January, February, March, April, right? May, June. So we just have like these 6 months in our list L. I think we've done this, we've used choice before. So we can use choice when you have a list, random dot choice. You can use it to select one of them randomly. Okay, which we could just say print and choice. I'll pass the list. So if I run this, let me save it and run. Random will just choose 1 month randomly. Okay. So you can see, I said it should print it. So randomly, it just chose one. I think there was a problem we solved some time ago, some of us, and we are trying to create a game where we are choosing some things. We use random the choice. I'm using it just as choice because of the way I imported it. If I had imported random, what I'll write now is random dot choice. So that accepts a list and it can choose any item randomly from the list. If you repeat it, it must not be April, it can be any one of them. So this is something that can come in handy. One of the stuff random gives to us, just like we have rand int that generates an integer between two numbers. Okay. Then we can also use the sample method. This one takes the list L and then a number of elements. So in this case, I want a sample of 2 from the list. So if I save it and run, so it just randomly brings 2 items from this list. If I run it again, the items will always be different randomly. Okay. Is it
Okay.
clear?
Yes.
So we are just talking about list and random module. So there are things in random module that can work with list, and we just pick 3 from the book, which is this. We have choice, random sample, and then we have the shuffle. Now, shuffle changes the list. Remember that the list is mutable, right?
Yes.
Remember that list is mutable, which means the moment I shuffle the list, can I print it like this? But when I shuffle the list, it has changed the content of the list. If I go ahead and print L again, it will no longer have the content. And you can see when I try to do this, what did you see as what it printed?
No.
None. Because when you shuffle like this, it doesn't return anything, but it has changed the list. So if I print the list, print L, you will see that L will no longer be in this order
Order.
because it would have shuffled it. So look at it. It's none because it doesn't return anything. It's not like all those methods in string that will say, okay, C equals seed or replace, where it will return a new list or a new string for you to store in a variable. This doesn't. All this does is shuffles the list in place. That's why when we try to print it, there's nothing to print. It just goes and modifies our list. So these are like 3 shuffle random methods that we can use with lists. There are still quite a few of them. And remember, you can always go and look at the documentation for random. You see different methods, they'll tell you what they do. So I don't know if anyone has any question at this point.
Yes, there's a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask is, uh, within this shuffle function, if you do not specify the amount of uh, choices you want to extract, it will just return none if you try to print it out. Because I see from line 11, when you specify 2 there, it returns back a samples in selection, just 2. But when you did not specify any, just return none.
No, shuffle and sample are not the same, right? Sample is a
Yes.
method.
Yeah.
Sample is a method that creates another, like a sample, you know, you have a set, a subset,
So
right?
more than one
You
item.
can sample, yeah, just, it could be one. You can say, I want a sample that is 1 item. You can say, I want a sample that is 2, 3, but you cannot have a sample that is bigger than the list, okay? Like you have a basket of apples and you want to pick 4 apples. That's like a sample that is 4 in size. Abi?
Subset. Yes.
Like a subset. So that's why you specify, but shuffle doesn't work that way. Shuffle is about, you know, you shuffle cards now. When you want to play, say shuffle the card. You're just trying to change the position random,
Rearrange. Okay.
rearrange. You're not trying to even know what is where, it just shuffles it randomly. So if you want to shuffle something, you could just use shuffle. But what I'm saying is shuffle does not return anything. Like sample returns. So if I didn't want to print sample, I can do this. Say S equal to. So if I do it like this, I can store whatever sample returns, I can store it in S. Okay. The same thing with choice. That's why I can print it. But shuffle, you can't store anything. Even
Returning.
it doesn't return anything. Okay, we've not talked about return. Don't worry. In future, we'll talk about functions. Then you now see the return keyword, and then you understand what I'm saying. Return something. So basically, when you have like a function, it can do something without returning anything,
And then return.
and then it can return something to you, which is like give you back something. So when we do get to functions, you will see how that will. But for now, just know that there are certain methods you use that would not give you back anything, but
Okay.
it will just do its job. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I see is that from this shuffle function now within the random model, so it just shuffles it and reassigns it back to the original list. Because if you look in strings, the methods we use in strings, like let's say the dot upper method, it just returns the copy. The copy doesn't actually shadows the original. But with this shuffle, it shadows the original and like returns it as the original when you print out the actual list under your line 14. So it shuffles it and then replaces the original contents of the list, like a random content of the list. So when you print it out, it returns the shuffled copy.
Okay, there's what we call mutable and immutable. When we are dealing with strings, we say it's immutable. You cannot change string after creating it, right? So those are the ones
Yeah.
that you say that you're replacing the original one. But with lists are mutable. You can change lists. So that's why list now has some method that changes the list, like this method. It doesn't have to like reassign the list. It just goes and modifies it. Okay. Another one that modifies list, if I do something like this, does sort. If I sort the list, this does not return anything. If you say print, wrap it in print, it will be none. It doesn't return anything, but it sorts the list. It goes to this list now. You see, April is here. It will move April to the front. It will sort it alphabetically, basically. Or except you supply a key. You can supply a key to sort how you want to sort it, because you may want to sort it by the middle
Or ascending or
letter.
descending order.
You could also see, so there are some parameters you can specify in your sort. Okay. Like you see now, as I put this thing to come out, you see key in is none, reverse is bool. So that key, I can change it and work with the key such that I will sort this list by the item in the middle. That's, you see this FE, the second alphabet. Okay. You can also even sort the list by the last item. But for now, just say does sort. What we sort do, it will just do it alphabetically from the first element, but you can still add some parameters into sort. But default, once you just call sort, it's sort. Like this one does not return anything. It will just go and modify the list in place.
List.
Okay. But you find out that there is nothing like this for string that will go and modify string in place. String always will replace the original string, or we did that demonstration in class. It will be reassigned. The pointer will change from the variable names. That is because string is immutable. I'm stressing like this
Immutable.
because it's something you just need to also like know, right? Just know that it's immutable to help you when you're working with it, because you know that you can't change it. Okay. Any other question? Now, it seems like we are talking a lot of things like this from time to time. The secret to understanding all these things is just more usage. Even me, this random module, which we brought all these things from, I can't tell you I know everything in random. But what I always do is, if I want to understand more or achieve more about it, I'll go and read it. Okay? Just Google it, say sample in random module, or check the whole random module on W3 Schools. Then you can click on a particular function and see more about it, how to use it, parameters, arguments it can accept, other things you can do with it. So from time to time, you can always check something. Okay. So we go to
Okay.
the next one, which is split. So when we talk about splitting, it's more of Splitting is more of, breaking something down. Okay. So I think we have touched this one before in our last class. So we can use it, for instance, with a string to form a list. So if we have S is equal to this is a string. We can convert this string to a list using split. Okay, and we can say that the list is equal to S dot split. Maybe we talked about it in the last class.
Yes.
You also just talked about it now.
Today? Did you mean we talked about it today?
You just demonstrated it not quite long.
Split? I don't think so. It's only choice, sample, and shuffle we've talked about.
No, we've not talked about split.
Okay, let's just go through it again. So for split, by default, split splits item based on space. So default, it's if I split this one, let's print it. So let's print L now and see what it does. I think we did this in the last class.
Items. Oh, is it not slice?
No, not slice. Slicing is where we are like cutting the list. But this is splitting, forming a list. So if I run it, now see what happens. A list is formed that says today is Sunday, where the items in this list today is and Sunday. Okay? Do you get?
Yes.
So that list now is formed from the string using the split. So this comes into mind anytime you want to do some manipulations in list. Because list on its own, you know that list cannot be, it's immutable. You can actually use split to, change it to a list, work with it, and return it back. For instance, if someone tells you to arrange these words in this sentence in a sorted order, right? Let me say, in sorting alphabetically, which one comes first? S is before T. I is first.
Sorry, I.
I is first, then S. So if you're asked now, this is a sentence, go and sort this sentence such that let all the words stay alphabetically. How can you achieve it? The fastest way to do it is to split it, change it to a list. When it's a list like this, you can then call the dot sort on the list. After the dot sort on the list, you can then come back to the next item here, which is join. So split now takes a string and makes it into a list. Then join takes that list and send it back to a string. Hello?
Sir, repeat that thing you just said now.
I said, and split takes a string and makes
Okay.
it a list, right?
Okay.
But join takes a list and makes it a string. So practically now, let us say I use split to change this string to a list. And then now I want to bring it back. So L, when we printed it, we saw this, okay? let me now say I want to do sort, just like I described. So I sort L. Then I want to bring it back to a list, a string. So I can come to dot join and say, I think dot join, you have this. I give it space, dot join, and I put L. So this now, what I'm saying is join all the items in L using what? Space.
Space.
Okay. Using space. So I print N. Let's save it and run it. No, it's still today, Sunday. L dot sort. Why aren't you sorting? This thing. Let me save it and run again. Let me see. Today is Sunday. Why is it not sorting? So now I'm trying to.
Sir, it doesn't return anything. I'm sorry. It returns something. What is supposed to use the sorted function, like sorted in brackets L,
Okay,
then it would sort.
let me try that one. So there is another sort. So maybe I mixed it. I thought this was the one that doesn't return. This is supposed to be the one that returns something. But let's see.
So that one just sorts it normally, but doesn't return it. Still not working.
Still not working. Okay, let's do something. I suspect it's this sorted that returns something, but let me try the sort. And then I print L to see L before I join it. Okay.
Okay.
So maybe I'm not calling my sort method very well. Something is not right here.
Reassign it. Reassign. Let's see L equals L dot sort. Let's see if it will change. Yeah.
I thought he said it's wrong. There's a place we met this.
Hold on, let me see.
Ah,
No.
No, because this doesn't return. I
Oh,
think I'm sure about that. This does not, it's supposed to sort the
you can
list.
only do that without return.
Without what?
Eh, what you entered before that L dot sort in bracket is right. I think we've come across this somewhere before. Was it in the last class?
Mhm. Yeah, I know.
That assigning a variable to sort is wrong.
Aha, okay. I see what's going on. I see what's going on. It's sorting it in the reverse order, right? Because you see, when I put A, I added A here and I split it. You see, the list is like this, right? Which is what we expect. Okay. And then when I now call dot sort, do you see what it did? It put A. But alphabetically, is this supposed to be the correct order?